In the marshlands of the Nile, where the river meets the sea, a humble reed once held the key to an empire. This is not just the story of a plant, but the story of how an idea, a law, a poem, a prayer, could be captured, preserved, and passed across millennia. This is the story of papyrus, the paper of civilization. For thousands of years, the knowledge of the ancient world rested upon its fragile, fibrous surface. From the decrees of pharaohs to the accounts of merchants, papyrus was the lifeblood of a literate society, a technology as revolutionary as the printing press or the internet. But how was this remarkable material made? And how did it shape the world we live in today? Our journey begins in the delta of ancient Egypt, some 5,000 manor years ago. Here, the papyrus plant, Cyperus papyrus, grew in dense, towering thickets. To the ancient Egyptians, it was a symbol of life and fertility. They used it to build boats, weave sandals, and make ropes. But its most ingenious use was yet to come. Imagine standing in a workshop, the air thick with the smell of the river. Workers harvest the tall, triangular stalks. They peel away the tough green outer layer, revealing the creamy white pith inside. This pith is then sliced into thin, delicate strips. The magic happens in the arrangement. One layer of strips is laid vertically, and another is placed horizontally on top. They are then moistened with Nile water, which is rich in natural starches, and pounded together with a mallet. The pressure and the natural gum of the plant fuse the layers into a single, cohesive sheet. After being pressed under heavy stones and dried in the sun, the surface is polished smooth with a shell or a piece of ivory. A new page is born, ready to receive the ink of a scribe. These individual sheets were often glued together, end to end, to form long scrolls, some stretching over 100 feet. This format dictated how information was consumed. You couldn't just flip to a page. You had to unroll the knowledge, journeying through the text from beginning to end. The Egyptian scribes, with their reed pens and ink made of soot and ochre, were the masters of this medium. They chronicled dynasties, recorded medical procedures, and penned literary masterpieces like the Book of the Dead, a guide to the afterlife, intended to be a celestial map for the soul. Papyrus was not just paper, it was a vessel for eternity. The influence of papyrus soon spread beyond the borders of Egypt. It became one of the ancient world's most valuable exports. The Greeks, hungry for knowledge, adopted it Malatia. The word paper itself, and even Bible, trace their linguistic roots back to this Egyptian reed. In the Great Library of Alexandria, it is said that 500,000 papyrus scrolls held the collected wisdom of the known world. A staggering repository of science, philosophy, and literature. The thoughts of Plato, the histories of Herodotus, the plays of Sophocles, all were preserved on this Egyptian invention. Papyrus became the software of the Greek intellectual revolution. The Romans, in turn, inherited this legacy. Across their vast empire, from Britain to the Levant, papyrus was the backbone of administration. Laws were codified, legions were commanded, and taxes were collected, all on scrolls of papyrus. It was the medium of Cicero's orations and Virgil's Aeneid. But it is in a small, doomed city on the Bay of Naples that we find one of the most astonishing chapters in our story. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted, burying the town of Herculaneum in a torrent of superheated ash and gas. In a suburban villa, a vast library was instantly carbonized. For centuries, these scrolls lay entombed, resembling little more than lumps of charcoal. Archaeologists believed them to be lost forever, but through painstaking modern science, using multispectral imaging and X-ray technology, we are now beginning to read these invisible texts. We are unrolling scrolls that have not been seen for 2,000 years, revealing a lost library of Epicurean philosophy. These ghost-like words, emerging from the ashes, are a testament to the incredible resilience of papyrus, a direct line to the minds of a forgotten world. As the Roman Empire waned, a new force was rising, and it too would be carried on the wings of papyrus. The earliest Christian Gospels and the letters of the Apostles were first copied and circulated on papyrus scrolls, and, later, in a new format, the Codex. By stacking and stitching sheets of papyrus together, early Christians created the ancestor of the modern book. This innovation allowed for random access. A reader could now quickly find a specific passage or chapter. The Codex was more compact, more durable, and perfectly suited for the spread of a new faith. The words that would shape Western civilization for the next 2 millennia took their first physical form on the fragile pages of papyrus. But the age of papyrus was not destined to last forever. The secret of its manufacture was eventually lost. The plant itself disappeared from the Nile Delta for centuries. A new, more robust material, parchment, made from animal skin, began to take its place. And later, a revolutionary invention from China, paper made from wood pulp, would conquer the world. Papyrus, the paper of the pharaohs, faded into history, its scrolls crumbling to dust in all but the driest climates. For a time, it seemed its story was over. But in the 19th century, a new wave of archaeological discovery in Egypt unearthed vast mummy cartonnage, a kind of ancient papier-mâché made from recycled papyrus scraps, used to create funeral masks and casings. Scholars began the delicate process of dissolving the plaster to reveal the texts within. They found not just grand literature, but the everyday writings of ordinary people. A soldier's letter home, a wife's shopping list, a child's school exercise, a marriage contract. These fragments of daily life, rescued from the refuse of antiquity, gave us a more intimate human connection to the past than any king's decree. They are time capsules, whispering stories of love, work, and worry across the ages. From a simple marsh reed to the foundation of empires and the cradle of world-changing ideas, the journey of papyrus is a journey through human history itself. It reminds us that the tools we use to communicate are never just tools. They shape our thoughts, our societies, and our very destiny. What was once written on these fibrous sheets built libraries, fueled religions, and administered empires. It is a legacy written not in stone, but on the delicate, enduring paper of civilization. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more explorations into the hidden histories that shaped our world. We'll see you next time.